Honestly, there's not 1 ounce of worry in my body. The Eagles are going to abuse Dallas on Sunday with Kenny Pickett as quarterback 1. Honestly, I felt very confident in this even prior to hearing the news about CeeDee Lamb being out for the season, and I feel even better now. But let me tell you, it is so strong, my belief in this outcome being an ass whooping, that there is not 1 ounce of worry in my body. And I'm curious at 215-592-9494 if there is any worry in your mind at all, knowing that Jalen Hurts will most likely not be available. We are going to keep our eyes glued to social media, to all the beat reporters, to stay as updated as we possibly can with practice reports and all sorts of things throughout the day here. So make sure you don't turn the dial off 94 WIP all day long. But I cannot wait to see this team run out the tunnel with Kenny Two Gloves being at the forefront of it all at the Link, and they are going to kill the Cowboys. They are. It's so obvious. They are the team that's inspired. They are the team that has the goal of wrapping up the division, setting themselves up nicely for a postseason run. All right, so I want you guys, as we get started here, to take a listen to Mike Garafolo, who was on Good Morning Football this morning, talking about the current status of the quarterback position here in Philly.
Didn't make an appearance. As for that game on Sunday, it is looking more and more likely that it is going to be Kenny Pickett at quarterback for the Eagles because Jalen Hurts again did not practice on Thursday, didn't practice on Tuesday. There was an estimated injury report on Wednesday, DNP there as well. Didn't make an appearance on the field or in the locker room. Pickett, meanwhile, spoke to reporters and he said he has that rib injury, but he feels like he'll be a full go. No limitation for him on Sunday, just something he has to deal with.
All right, so let me give you 3 reasons why I feel as confident as I do in this group. And I am going to start with Kenny Pickett. Reality is, whether you think he stinks or not, Kenny Pickett has won more games than he has lost as a starter. And when you look at what he has to work with here in this town, there is a better offensive line here than there was in Pittsburgh. There is a better running back here than there was in Pittsburgh. There are better wide receivers here than there was in Pittsburgh. And there's a better defense here than there was in Pittsburgh when he was there winning games. So if he can go 14-10 with a worse group around him on one given week, he can destroy a Cowboys team who's on a backup quarterback and don't have to worry about a number 1 wide receiver. Do not get it twisted. Kenny Pickett is not a bum. Kenny Pickett is not someone who can't win a football game, especially a broken down version of the Cowboys who aren't very good. There's enough surrounding him where he has the ability to distribute the football in plenty of different directions so you can annihilate that Cowboys defense. I don't care that they won 4 out of their last 5. They haven't seen a bunch this hungry, ready to solidify themselves for the playoff run. The Eagles are a different beast, even this version of the Eagles without Jalen Hurts. So reason number 1, Kenny Pickett has won more games than he has lost in 24 starts. It's a big deal. Number 2, it is time to lock things up. Last week stung. There's no doubt about it. You fall to a Washington team that you should have beat. You had guys getting kicked out of the game that probably didn't deserve to get kicked out of the game. You lose your quarterback 11 snaps in. And it obviously pissed off the head coach to the point where he's ready to fight Zach Ertz. So a lot of bottled up frustration. And now you have a new fresh week to be able to answer all of that frustration with a monster win against a huge rival that's trying to make it more difficult for you, even though their season's all wrapped up. Their goal is we want to try and make it harsher for Philadelphia and make them sweat it out more than they want to. And that's sort of their goal. That's all cute, but I don't think that's going to counter and weigh out our, approach and our attack and our belief in what we are capable of doing on Sunday and having the mindset of, we do this, we get a nice bye for Week 18, and then we can rest up before we see our first opponent at the link in the playoffs. That mentality by the Eagles are going to outweigh anything the Cowboys can throw your way. And then lastly here, Dallas sucks. Dallas sucks. They're not good. And when you combine those three reasons, I can't stress it enough that there isn't 1 ounce of worry in my body. So I want to know from you at 215-592-9494, do you at all have a little worry heading into this game, knowing the quarterback situation is most likely going to be Kenny Pickett? Because I believe in him heavily. I believe in the team heavily. I believe in the coaching staff heavily. And I think all of those phases are significantly better than anything Dallas can throw your way. And if I'm doing the math, that means it's going to result in an Eagles W, and not just a W, but the Eagles are going to abuse the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday. So we heard from Mike Garafolo on everything that transpired with Jalen Hurts and the practice schedule and the report for Thursday. Now let's take a listen to the current status of CeeDee Lamb and the way that the Cowboys are approaching the wide receiver one heading into this game.
CeeDee Lamb with that AC joint injury that he's been dealing with, Jamie, the Cowboys shutting him down for the rest of the season, the final 2 games after undergoing further evaluation. The team deemed it was in his best interest to not play these final 2 games. He's been battling through it. You give him credit for it. He's a gamer. We knew this team likely wasn't making the postseason. Eliminated the other day, still played in that game, but he will not play against the Eagles. I was actually walking into the Eagles locker room when that hit. A lot of the defenders on that team surprised by the news. Darius Slay, in fact, saying he hopes for a full recovery for CeeDee Lamb, was looking forward to facing him.
Now, I was just giving CeeDee Lamb a tiny bit of credit yesterday just because I loved the fact that he was playing even though his team was out of the playoffs and he was battling some sort of injury. And I gave him a lot of appreciation because in today's era of athletes, I don't think we are used to seeing that whatsoever. They normally just say, all right, it's done. Let me wrap it up and call this a season and we'll figure out what's best for me moving forward. Well, 1 week later, and 1 day later, I should say, but 1 week after CeeDee Lamb played through all that pain and played through the one shoulder, essentially, he is now ruled out, and it probably makes sense. But tell me in what world the Cowboys are going to dice you up and carve through this defense with Cooper Rush and barely any receivers and a run game that doesn't scare me at all. There's no way when we sit here and we break down the X's and the O's and the strategy on the Cowboys, how they will score enough points against this defense to beat you. Kenny Pickett in this offense can put up touchdowns. I know they didn't, and they kicked some field goals and blah, 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 blah. I know. But I'm talking about a bigger sample size with an entire week of practice with the known and, the information being known that Kenny Pickett is our guy all week long. And leading up to the game, you are putting together a game plan, looking at your playbook, and you are strategically filing things together on your play sheet, knowing that number 7 is the one that's operating our offense. That is so much different than just, hey, here's 11 snaps into the game after Jalen Hurts was going through number ones with practice and all that. It throws you in for a loop. You're out of touch. You're out of rhythm. You're out of sync. You weren't prepared. And knowing that, they did a decent enough job on the fly to put the team in a position to win. Now, though, You get to go to work in the meeting rooms as a coaching staff, watching film, seeing what the Commanders did to you. Now you get a chance to counter that, and you could put in plays that are going to help Kenny Pickett succeed and put him in a great position to operate, let's say, more of an RPO game or operate more of just the run game traditionally, getting Saquon Barkley some room to work with. However you want to get your game plan rolling to help out the run game, to help out some of the pass game as well, you have a week to do it. And I just don't see a world where the Dallas Cowboys are going to come in here and Cooper Rush is going to score that many points and rip our souls out of our chest here. It's just not going to happen. I'm not worried about it a lick because I think it's impossible. I don't think the Dallas Cowboys stand a chance. And I want to make sure it's known that a good reason why I feel this way, a big part of it is, I believe in Kenny Pickett. I believe Kenny Pickett is a good backup quarterback that can handle a situation where we need you for a week or two. It's a test for him, a test that he's been waiting to prove to the NFL world after everything that transpired with Mike Tomlin and that franchise. I'm not asking him to be a starting quarterback in the NFL through 17 weeks. I'm asking him to work with Kellen Moore, to work with Nick Sirianni, to work with a lot of these skill position players to beat up on a banged-up Cowboys team with a backup quarterback and a team that isn't that good, regardless of winning 4 out of 5. And guess what? That standard that I'm setting is a fair one. And one that he can knock out of the park. And one that he will knock out of the park. Because the Eagles are going to abuse Dallas tomorrow, or on Sunday, excuse me. I wish the game was tomorrow. On Sunday. And I don't have 1 ounce of worry in my body. Do you? 215-592-9494. Let's go to Jake in Delco. What's up, Jake?
Hey, what's happening, Brodes?
Not much, man. What's going on?
Before I make my sports point, I wanted to get something out of the way. What's up with Spike and Jack clowning you, man? You gotta check them into the boards in the hallway or something, man.
You know what?
You need to back them.
I
was
thinking about a cross check to the teeth, so then they could start looking like Sean Couturier or Bobby Clark when they smile. See how they like it.
You could check Spike into Jack. You know what I mean? Because Spike could just be. You could just use Spike as just a,
throw him around like a rag doll or something. Yeah, that's a good point. I'll have to put it into consideration.
It's a little out of hand, and it's a little bit weird. Maybe one of them actually has a crush on you because they keep talking about you all the time. It's weird. I don't mean to go there, but
nah, it's all fun, man. It's all fun.
Man, I used to hear this and I'd be like, who is this guy that yells all the time? He's really annoying. And then I saw you online somewhere on social media. And I was like, wow, that's just who he is. This guy is really authentic, and now I really enjoy you.
Well, thank you, Jake. Thank you very much. You know what I tell people, because I get that a lot? It's an IPA. It's an acquired taste. But if you enjoy the IPA, there it is, baby. That's a nice item. You know what I mean?
There you go. I admire your supreme confidence for this game.
Mm-hmm.
But as John Ritchie says, weird things do happen this time of year, and could weird lightning strike twice? It could. I'm a little bit edgy about this game, just because of the time of the year. And Dallas does, they hate us. They really hate us. And Micah Parsons' hate is not something to be really too scared of. But they will get up for this game. And what if Pickett gets popped a couple times and starts throwing picks, and then they stack the box and Saquon can't run, and I just think there is a doomsday scenario that we have a problem with this game. But that being said, I'm still 95% confident that we mop them up.
Now, let me ask you this, Jake. Is a lot of this 5% that we're dealing with, is it strictly because of Pickett? Like, if Hurts was in here, would you feel still 5% that anything weird could happen? And, who knows, maybe Dallas gets up for this game and they beat you? Or is it strictly the 5% is correlated with we are working with our backup quarterback?
I think it might be neither. It might just be post-traumatic stress from the Washington game. It might just be that.
Okay, and that's probably fair.
2.5. 2.5 is Pickett. 2.5 is post-traumatic Washington Commodores.
Okay, and listen, that makes sense. And Jake, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate all the kind words and the support. And I guess that's where we're at here is we have to pick apart this 5% of fear, but that's the difference between me and someone like Jake and maybe someone like you out there at 215-592-9494. I don't have 5%. I don't have 5% fear. I don't. What am I afraid of? First off, who is Cooper Rush? Let's start there. Who's Cooper Rush? And then let's follow it up with who's Cooper Rush throwing to? And then let's follow that up with who's Cooper Rush handing the ball off to? No one. No one. And not only that, this defense can stop anybody. This defense stops high-flying offenses. Last week was a tough one, but that's a huge outlier. So if you have Jalen Carter wrecking games and annihilating the best, if Quinyon Mitchell is locking up the best, if Darius Slay is having a nice season, if all of this is true against a Lamar Jackson-led Baltimore Ravens team who has an absurd offense, in what world is Dallas even a thought? I don't even think this is a thought of a game, which makes no sense, but you get my point. The Eagles will abuse Dallas. Because of our defense, because of Kenny Pickett, because of our receivers, because of it all. We are superior. And I don't think this is even close. I don't have an ounce of worry about Kenny Pickett starting. I don't have an ounce of worry about the Eagles as a team facing Cooper Rush and a no CD Lamb-led football team. This is going to be an obliteration. Whatever word you want to use that screams, just destroying an opponent, dominating a team, abusing a team, you name it. That's what the outcome is going to be. And Kenny Pickett will be a big part of that. Kenny Pickett can be and will be a big part of this win against the Cowboys because he's better than most Eagles fans give him credit for in this role. Make sure you keep that part in mind here. In this role. Let's go to our Twitter poll question, and our Twitter question is sponsored by PI Dental Center. Your smile is the first thing that others see when they meet you. Learn about and schedule your evaluation at pidentalcenter.com. The question is, do you have 1 ounce of worry about this matchup on Sunday? 55.5% say yes. 44.5% say no. It's too many yeses. What's the matter with you? It's too many yeses. Give me the strategical reasons why the Cowboys win. Or give me the strategical reasons on why this is going to be a sweat. Other than, you never know what happens. It's a weird league. I don't want that. I want football reasons why. You hear me? Now, before we get back to the phones, I want you all to take a listen to Kenny Pickett in the locker room. Listen, Elliott Shore-Parks does an amazing job. This was his video feed, so sometimes you might hear some of the players in the background doing whatever they do during their practice week. But I wanted to get you guys all an opportunity to listen to the quarterback yesterday when asked about his, sort of his preparation here as being quarterback one.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into detail on what it is, but they're getting better, and I'll be ready to go for Sunday.
You had a flak jacket on today. Have you ever played with one of those before?
Yeah, I always have. There's just extra thing I'm doing underneath it, just to kind of feel it out.
Sorry, so you said you will play on Sunday?
Yeah.
What's this week like? I'm sure getting a lot more reps, getting more prepared for game action.
Yeah, it's great to get reps with guys I really haven't a chance to play with. So getting the continuity, getting in and out of the huddle, and obviously throwing to the receivers, is big for me.
I saw you talking to AJ out at practice. What's it been like with him specifically, and I guess Devontae too this week? Is there extra communication, or how
everyone's been great. I mean, like I said, you don't get many reps with them. So anything we get, we kind of communicate after. What he sees, what I see, and just moving from there. At the end of the day, we'll just go out there and play ball on Sunday.
All right, there it is. Kenny Pickett, Mr. Two Gloves. Mr. Two Gloves. It's funny, if you told me in the beginning of the year that I'd have this strong of a stance about Kenny Pickett, I'd probably spit in your face. But here I am. He should have won the game last week. He did enough. He did enough. And with the whole week of practice, and with getting together with A.J. Brown, even through a rib injury and wearing more protection underneath of his jersey and his pads, I expect him to hold the fort down. He went 14-10 in 24 games with Pittsburgh, and he's playing a weak opponent. That's right. You heard me. They're playing a weak opponent this week, and there's so much more talent surrounding him than there was in Pittsburgh. So if he could do that with the Steelers, why can't he win a game against the Cowboys at home, in front of your home crowd, with the team that has Saquon Barkley, who's on pace to beat the record for rushing in the NFL for a regular season? I mean, think about that. He can do enough, and he will do enough. Let's go to Rob in Delco. What's happening, Rob? I know he's there. Robert? Don't get. I know you're there. What are you doing? You painting the house? What do you got? You got me on speaker while you're painting the walls?
Nah, I was doing laundry, bros. That's my fault.
Oh, okay.
Listen, bros, I got a proclamation for you.
Hit
okay?
me.
All right, and coming from me with the Flyers, this is serious, okay?
Mm-hmm.
This is how confident I am, bros.
Is it possible to get off speaker?
Yeah, bros. I'm sorry.
I know. Listen, I don't want to get yelled at.
Listen, bros.
I got you.
This is how confident I am in the Birds
getting
the job done. If you're the quarterback, okay? These people calling up are nuts. They're out of their minds. They're insane that they're worried about this game. I don't care if they had Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. They lose this game. This is my proclamation. I will not watch another Eagles game net for a year, okay? So I'll punt the 2025 season. And you know what else, bros? I'm going to watch every single Flyers game this year, okay?
Well, you're acting like that's a punishment for the Eagles losing this game. That would actually be a phenomenal idea to watch the games regardless.
Yeah, you know me, bros. I forget when they're on. I'll get played to a game, and, we'll leave early and they'll win in overtime or something like that. But, okay, you know what? I don't want to punch.
You'd have to watch the Sixers, Rob, every night is what you'd have to watch.
Yeah, but you know me. I love hoops, though. I'm a sucker, like we were talking yesterday. I want to watch every game anyway, but you're right. My punishment, I'll punt on the Eagles season next year. I will not watch one Eagles game next year if they lose to the Cowgirls this Sunday. I mean, come on. People, what are you worried about? I don't care if our third-string quarterback was in there. Our offensive line, our defensive line, our skill position players, come on.
I know.
Hey, who are you worried about? Dowdell? Who's your second wide receiver, Brodes? Could you tell me? I don't even know.
No, what everyone's throwing my way in regards to who we have to watch out for is the Micah Parsons thing. But you forget that. I mean, I can throw you greatness on the offensive line that matches the greatness of Micah Parsons, if not even more so. So we negate that. I mean, they just did what they did to T.J. Watt, all right? And Parsons is good, don't get me wrong. But if you can limit T.J. Watt, you can limit anybody in this league. So whatever your strength is with Micah Parsons, we have the counter to that.
But it's one guy. I mean, it's one guy. Everybody's got one guy on their team, right? Everybody's got one guy on their team that's a good football player or a very good player. I mean, come on. I mean, these people are just looking for something. There's nothing to worry about. This is how Eska would say, a stone cold lock is what this is.
Wow.
And I told you, I am not going to watch one Eagles game. I won't watch the rest of this year. and I won't watch next year. And put this on record, bros. Okay?
I got
This
you.
is my proclamation.
I got you. I'll put it on the record.
I won't watch him the rest of this year, and I won't watch him at all next year. I mean, come on.
You don't have to worry about it, Robin, and thank you. See, you don't have to worry about it because that's not happening. You don't got to worry about it. They got Turpin, who's a little speedster. All right. We got Brandon Cooks at age 97. Come on. What is Cooper Rush going to do? See, the thing is with Rob, I would feel maybe bad for him if there was any chance the Eagles actually lose this football game. Be like, Rob, dude, that's a lot. See, let me give you an example. Caleb is producing today's show, but the last couple of days it was Justin Durazio. And Justin Durazio said, I even wrote it down, and I'm going to make sure I go back to the timestamp. He said that there's no way that the Eagles sweep the Cowboys, and if they do, he's going to eat a shoe. He's going to eat a shoe. Well, I hate to break the news to him. See, I do feel bad for him because he's actually going to have to do that. I don't feel bad for Rob because in no way, shape, or form is he going to have to punt the Eagles season the rest of the way or punt the 2025 season because Kenny Pickett is going to go out there. He's going to give the ball to A.J. Brown. He's going to place the ball to Devontae Smith, and this time he's going to catch it. He's going to make sure that there is an ability to run the ball better, along with Kellen Moore dialing up some stuff with the game plan and the offensive line. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. The Eagles are actually going to abuse Dallas on Sunday. 215-592-9494. Let's go to Jason in New Jersey. Hey, Jace.
Hey.
What's up?
How you doing?
Good.
Yeah, defense got a lot of turnovers this week, and it seemed like Kenny Pickett couldn't really make that completion to get a first down.
Well, he did to Devontae Smith. That would have won the game.
Well, it would have.
Yeah.
You definitely got that right.
Yeah.
But all throughout the game, during the game, it was a lot of 3-and-outs. And they were loading the box, stopping Barkley, and Kenny just could not get that completion that he needed.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
a lot of
The
it was
offense
good
stalled.
defense.
The offense stalled a little bit.
Yeah. And, to be honest, I kind of feel more confidence in Tanner McKee.
Based off of?
Pickett. Preseason.
So you're valuing the preseason games over the 14 wins in the career of Kenny Pickett in 24 starts?
As a current watching, I think that Tanner McKee can throw the ball better than Pickett, yes.
I think that Tanner McKee has a good ball, for sure, but there's a big difference between having a good ball in a couple of preseason games and comparing that to 24 NFL starts and being under center in shotgun for 4 quarters of these 24 starts. It's just, I don't think people really understand the importance of actually playing NFL quarterback for 24 games compared to not having any experience ever with the division on the line.
Okay, I totally get that.
Yeah.
But
I think it's also, Jason, I don't think people love McKee. I think people just don't like Pickett more than it is about McKee because what are we basing the McKee stuff on? 2 preseasons ago, he had a good ball,
I mean, this preseason was all right for him, too. But, you're right. I don't like Pickett.
Yeah.
But I should because he's a South Jersey guy.
Yeah, outside of the South Jersey stuff.
Something about it. I don't know.
But
something about the Pickett.
But he's a backup quarterback. I think if you have a backup, like Gardner Minshew, backup quarterback. I like Pickett more than Minshew. But these are backup quarterbacks. Like the expectation when you have to resort to utilizing a Kenny Pickett is what we saw. Like that is a standard of legit backup quarterback play, especially one without a week of preparing for. That was on the fly, 11 snaps in, getting thrown into the fire. You're probably going to see better adjustments from the staff based off of this week's practice.
I would definitely like to see better running game, especially if they're going to load the box, knowing that we have a deficiency in the passing game.
Yeah, I agree. So you do have some worry, though, I'd assume, because you're not a big Kenny guy.
Yeah, and it would be weird if Tanner McKee did come in and actually ball. Well, you know what? I'm wishing for the best for both quarterbacks because I want the Eagles to win, and I don't think they'll have a problem with the Cowgirls.
Okay. All right, listen, I appreciate the call. I appreciate the call. See, another thing with this Kenny Pickett stuff, too, is if you're so down on our quarterback, are you paying attention to who they're throwing out there? And the last time we were able to see Cooper Rush? I mean, it's Cooper Rush. Do you think Cooper Rush is going to carve up Quinyon Mitchell? Carve up Quinyon Mitchell. 4 quarters. Dyson. See, I keep hearing this about Kenny Pickett, too. Well, that interception. You don't think it's possible that Cooper Rush makes poor mistakes throwing the football? You don't think Cooper Rush might make a bad mistake? You don't think Cooper Rush might throw the ball in traffic where Reed Blankenship or CJGJ can get an interception or Nolan Smith can come around the edge and find a way to have a strip sack? You don't think that's possible? Of course it is. So, yeah, Kenny Pickett might make a mistake. This is a backup quarterback versus backup quarterback matchup. There's probably going to be multiple mistakes on both sides. They're not going to play a clean, crisp game. If they played clean, crisp games all the time, they'd be a starter. My only point is, Kenny Pickett can do enough. And if he does happen to make a mistake throw, which he may do, I don't think that's going to be the end-all, be-all, because over the 4 quarters, you can make up for that said mistake with all the talent surrounding him. Whether it's on the defensive side turning over Cooper Rush, or it's Saquon Barkley taking it to the house on a handoff for 65 yards. That's another way to make up for that turnover. Hey, don't worry about it. You turned it over, we held him to a field goal, and then we punished the Cowboys with a 7-point touchdown drive here, and boom, thank you, Saquon Barkley. You had your quarterbacks back. You know, that's also in play that you can't discredit. Let's go to Shay in the Northeast. Hey, Shay.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I have no faith in Kenny.
Wow.
I have deja vu. I'm traumatized from when we had to put Minshew in the game. And what happened, I feel like the same thing happened. Minshew played okay. There was a lot of fumbles and drops when we played the Cowboys. Everybody said he almost won the game. We're going to play him against the Saints, and what happened when he played against the Saints? He looked horrible.
Yeah, he did.
So it's like deja vu to me. Like, you guys, I feel like we're going off to how he could have almost won, and that because of how he looked come this game. I have zero confidence. I really want Jalen back. I really feel as though we're bringing Jalen back in Week 18. That we're not taking a break. I don't see us winning at all, and it's sad. Like, I'm disappointed. It went the way it went, but I have no confidence. I've been listening to you, but I have none. It's out the door.
Damn, that's crazy, Shay. It's crazy that it's that. So let me ask you this. Can it be possible where if Minshew has, I don't know, let's say Minshew has a below average game, right? Not great, but not egregious where he can't do anything, but it's on the below average side. You don't think that Jalen Carter, maybe this defense that can hold the Cowboys to, let's say, I don't know, 13 points or something, you don't think there are other avenues to win with this group based off of what they've shown you? That if they're all, I mean, let's be real, Shay, our offense at times hasn't been lovely throughout the win streak that they had, and they would start off slow and they wouldn't score until the second half, and they'd be shut out in the first quarter. But because of your defense or because of other areas, you're able to stay within the game until you find something. And you don't think it's possible to take that same sort of game plan and duplicate it here?
Well, let me ask you a question. We had 5 turnovers, right, by defense.
Yes.
And when it went back to the offense, King was not able to move the ball effectively to even capitalize on it. So if we have turnovers, do you trust that offense can do anything? That we can get down the field and do anything with them? Because we weren't able to, we got 3 points off the 5 out of the 5 turnovers?
Yeah, I do. And that's a good question, Shay. It is a good question. And thank you so much. I greatly appreciate your call. I do believe in them. Here's why. I don't think that's the norm. I don't think because they had 5 turnovers against the Commanders, think about how rare that is. There were stats and all sorts of data and numbers flying around about how if you have 5 turnovers in a game, you don't lose it, right? And if you're the Commanders and you turn the ball over 5 times, you lose that game. So that was so strange and so bizarre that if we were to turn over Cooper Rush and the Dallas Cowboys multiple different times. Do I think that the Eagles could do better than just 3 points or 2 field goals, 6 points? Yes. Yes.